Welcome back to LDB Games. I'm Lord Darth Balls, and this is going to be a video about the #1 champion in this game. And it is none other than Duchess LILITU. At the time of release, we will be coming off of a ×10 on Duchess, and I'm hoping some of you who have been looking for her had the chance to pull her. She is an incredible champion and an absolute game changer no matter where you are on your account. So, first of all, I mean, is it just me, or do they tend to make some of the best champions in this game female? And I mean, their artwork for females tends to be better than for the males. Curious, huh? But anyway, she's got like, I mean, it kind of reminds me of, if there's any Zelda fans out there, Midna from Twilight Princess. I'm hyped for Tears of the Kingdom, by the way. I've already pre-ordered it. But anyway, that's a tangent. He's got these sweet, like, crystal wings. She's got, like, crystals growing out of her legs. Like, really cool little pauldrons she's got on her shoulders. Like, just a sick job with the artwork. Meanwhile, her, like, face paint is dripping down her chin. Like, the level of detail is it really, like, it's kind of awesome. So her kit. Simple, yet incredibly effective. Her A1 is a double hitter, puts a shield on herself and the champion with the lowest HP. It's equal to her max HP, which is nice because then you get some level of control for the size of the shield. At the end of the day, it's only 10%, so it's not going to be a massive shield, but it does kind of go, you know, it helps, right? Damage mitigation in any shape or form helps. Her A2 is really her all-star ability. It puts 3 buffs on your whole team. Block debuffs, increase attack, and perfect veil. Block debuffs is one of the best buffs in the game, right? It prevents any type of debuff. The only thing it doesn't block is turn meter reduction. Increase attack is a great way to empower your attack-based damage dealers and help them do more damage. And perfect veil is damage, straight up damage mitigation. It reduces the amount of damage that your allies take, not to mention for single target hits, they can't target those enemies. So it renders your team only vulnerable to AoEs, and perfect veil reduces the damage that they take. So talk about multiple ways of reducing damage. Now, if you think that's not good enough, she's got a full team revive to 70% HP. Not many champions have a revive with a high percentage of HP. And it puts a veil and a continuous heal buff on all allies. Now, veil is not as good as perfect veil, but it still reduces the amount of damage and prevents your team from being targeted by other enemies. So the only way they're going to take damage is AoE damage, which is pretty impressive. Now, the revive's on a 4-turn cooldown, which is legit, and so is her big A2, 4-turn cooldown. Incredible abilities. And she's got a bonkers passive. Decreases the damage taken by all allies from AoE attacks. Right? Now it's 25%, it's 15% if you're going up against boss. But remember, if she's throwing out her A2 or reviving on her A3, it's putting a veil on your whole team, which means no one can be targeted but Duchess, which means they're all only vulnerable to AoE attacks, and she reduces damage from AoE attacks. So she has multiple methods of damage mitigation in her kit just by herself. Absolutely incredible. Plus, she's got a speed aura in all battles, 19%. You know, it's not the highest speed aura, but for an all battles speed aura, this is pretty legit. I run her with Temporal Chains just because I only have a 1-star. And I think this is actually like kind of a cool little mix-up in the arena because she comes into a lot of areas of this game. And most of the areas that she comes in are areas where the enemy's getting buffs. So anytime an enemy catches a buff, it reduces their speed, which is kind of cool if you ask me. I mean, I'd love a bigger blessing, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, right? Now, how do I have her built? Notice there's no debuffs in her kit, so she doesn't need accuracy. We obviously need high HP because we want the shield to be somewhat effective, and she is a reviver, so we want her to survive. We want her to outlive everyone so that she can bring everyone back and start it all over again. So I have her built with, a decent amount of HP and defense, right? 67k, 3400, right? That's a decent amount of effective HP. It's not crazy, right? But it's good. Because where I really focused my gear is in her speed. She's running 274, and I went full on resistance, 538. And very rarely does she ever take a debuff. The only times I've ever seen her take debuffs are when she's going up against a Mithrala who's built really well, or when I've tried to push Plat and I'm going up against some absolutely insane teams. I mean, you see accuracies up in the 800-900s in Plat and in a high, like super high-end arena. But for everywhere else in this game, this is more than enough resistance. There's no boss that can put a debuff on her if it's not guaranteed. Obviously, there's always the 3% chance in this game, right? For those that don't know, nothing is ever 100% unless it cannot be resisted. There is always a 3% chance of a resistance on any debuff or terminal reduction that you do. So there will always be 3%. So whenever anyone says 100% chance, it's really 97. And it's really 96.999999999, right? To infinity, because it's a logarithmic curve that, yeah, anyway, math, right? But insane resistance, right? I digress. Now, how do I have her masteries? Well, I obviously went down to pick up some more resistance, because why not, right? This is just a great way to add more onto her kit. I went down the support tree and I went down the left side because remember, she doesn't have debuffs. So there's no need for Master Hexer or Sniper. I went with Lasting Gifts for the chance to extend the buffs that she does. Now, she's a reviver, so Spirit Haste makes complete sense because if everyone's dead, we need to get her back to a revive as fast as possible. Cycle of Magic is just a really nice bonus. Get some extra protection, extra damage, extra block debuffs. Lore of Steel for extra stats. Rapid Response, she puts out a lot of buffs, right? So this is a chance of her coming back around, cycling through her abilities. You're noticing a trend here, right? We've obviously got an increase to the amount of shields. If the target's low on HP, just a flat-out increase to shields and a flat-out increase to HP here. I went down the defense tree. I took improved parry because I take her into the arena a lot. And in the arena, you're only ever going to get hit with a crit, really. If you don't, it's not really going to matter in terms of the hit. And that's a substantial amount of damage reduction. Increases the amount of healing and value, the shield, value of shield that she receives, right? This increases the shield that she gives herself, as well as any heals coming from the rest of the team. We've got Resurgent, chance to remove a debuff when she gets smacked. Reduces damage from specific enemies, right? Lower damage over time. Chance to counterattack with a big hit. And we landed on that extra resistance. Now, I don't have her in like a meta set right now. I 100% believe that if you cannot get the stats that you want in the sets that you're aiming for, you scrap the set and you go for stats, right? Stats over sets. If I were to recommend building her in certain sets, right now, probably the best set to put her in is going to be Stone Skin. Or I would even make a case for Bolster, giving you an extra ally shield and healing per turn, which is pretty legit. Outside of that, you got Guardian, which is a great set that absorbs damage and heals every turn. Really nice protector set. And if we're going back into a little bit of Raid's history, Swift Parry is a cool choice. Because just imagine going after a Duchess team, getting the fatal hit on a Duchess, and then unkillable proccing, Duchess reviving the entire enemy team, and you just getting wrecked. It can turn the tide very quick in an arena battle. So that's how I have her built, right? Where do I use her? Well, the short answer is almost everywhere. I mean, if we look at, let's look at my dungeon teams. I think she's in my, I was playing around with that team. My IG, yep, she's in my my Ice Golem team, right? She's in the lead for the aura. She brings the block debuffs for the freezes against the boss. She's got the full team revive, the damage mitigation, all of that good stuff, right? She doesn't come into Spider, but in the early stages, if I had her early in the game, I would. It took me a while to pull her. I didn't pull her very early in the game. Do I use her in Dragon? Yeah, you can see I was fiddling. That's a little preview of a potential upcoming video in the future for those that caught it. She's not in my Dragon team, but she is, however, in my... Oh, no, not anymore. I used to have her in my Fire Knight team. That was before I was rocking a Seer team. But the cool thing about Duchess, it's not going to show it here. Let's go into Doom Tower real quick. Is she puts up 3 buffs. So not only is she a top tier protector, but she's also a perfect champion to add into a Seer team. Right in here, I have Duchess with 3 buffs, Lydia with 2, and Archmage with 3. So, I mean, Seer is ripping off 8 buffs. You want to talk about damage. I mean, like, serious damage. Now, I don't have the ability to beat this wave completely, but I'm curious of what the damage is going to look like up here. Stage 111 in the Doom Tower hard. All I want... Oh, I set up auto battle. Hold on a second. Stop multi-battle. Okay. Can't do on auto. There it is. Boom. Oh, I missed the damage markers. Hold on a second. I gotta see that. Right? Let me turn off this silly auto climb. Actually, let's go to the top floor. Top floor. 119, baby. Yeah. And let's see what kind of damage she... Oh, let's keep it on 2 times for now. So there's Duchess's 3 buffs. Right? There's Archmage's 3. There's 2 from Lydia. They're fast. Wow. And we even have some buffs out here. Boom. Almost 300k on a lot of them. And that's 119. And Duchess is a critical component of that. Not to mention, when you get to the end of a Seer team, like round 3, especially because I only have Renegade, you tend to need the revive because you're scrambling to get your abilities back while the enemies are getting their top tier abilities off, and having that full team revive is super, super useful. But you notice I also have her in my non-Seer team, right? At this height in the Doom Tower, this isn't a good enough team to take them on, but she comes into my Protect the Rhodos composition, right? And she is one of the key components to make sure that Rhodos stays alive. She's coming into my Eternal Dragon team here. She comes into my Agreth team. She comes into my Magma Dragon team, my Griffin team. She comes into my Bommel team before I got the Lady Annabelle strategy working. Not in Dark Fae, though. So she is in like 80 to 90% of this game for me, right? And even in... Actually, before we go into the arena teams, she's in my Iron Twins team. Oh, I can't show you right now. I'll pin to that video up top. You can check it out. Do I have her on my Sand Devils team? Not right now, but I think she is going to... Well, no, unless I do the Ninja Godseeker. Without Ninja and Godseeker, she would be coming into my Sand Devils team. Like, no question about that. And then I really use her... I think about using her more in the arena, right? When it comes to the rest of the game, she's kind of just like, yeah, throw Duchess in there. Oh, I need a reviver. Oh, Duchess, get over here. Oh, I need a protector. Oh, Duchess, get over here. I need some buffs. Oh, Duchess, get over here. Get in this team. Whereas in the arena, it becomes a little bit more strategic in how I use her. So I've got her, I think I've got her in 2 teams. That's the same team with a different nuker. I've got her in a couple different teams. And she is coming into Live Arena as well. She is one of my typical choices in Live Arena, just to hedge my bets, really. But you can see here, I love this team. So it brings in 2 damage dealers and 2 support champions, right? Duchess comes in with her insane A2 and her full team revive. Lydia's coming in with the decreased defense and weaken, as well as protection buffs. And I've got Hegemon coming out with his first blast, right? And if anybody gets revived or attempts to be revived. Lydia blocks it, takes her turn, locks some people out. And then I've got Georgia in there to take on Stoneskin, the Leos, and any champions that have, are really built very well. He can just shred them. Before I built Georgia, before I pulled him, I should say, I was using Genbo. This was my favorite team before Georgia. And I loved it so much because Genbo brings in a speed lead that's better than Duchess's. Let's actually go into Classic Arena just to kind of show you the auras and stuff. It's way easier to see in Classic Arena. Genbo brings in a 20% speed where where Duchess has a 19%. 1% can be a pretty big difference, especially if you've got Intimidating Presence, or the enemy does, right, in some shape or form. And honestly, if I were to pick a different blessing, I might pick Intimidating Presence, but she's not really geared for a full-on speed team. She's fast enough to be up there, but it's my Arbiter that's my speed team, right? Duchess comes in as part of my go second team, usually. And I have her in a team over here. This is a fun one that I built with Trunda. Duchess in the lead for the extra speed. I could actually put Trunda in there because Trunda's pretty fast. She's actually built pretty quick. I've got Mithrala in there for the full team cleanse, just in case, the speed team beats me out, or there is a speed team that beats me in the race, and they drop some debuffs. Mithrala will resist it, cleanse everybody, and then we've got Duchess with the protection, Lydia with the decreased defense and weaken, and our big monster nuke coming here from Trunda. Really incredible champion. I absolutely love Duchess. Let's see is there something I can use to show you a little bit of what she does, because she can technically be an anti-Torment, right? I typically use what's her name? Dark Elhain for anti-Torment, right? To just cleanse the freezes and throw the attacks out. But as long as she's going first, Duchess is going first, she puts that block debuffs up first out of all three abilities. And that's one of the really cool nuances in her kit, is when you look at the mechanics of her A2, it does these buffs in order. Now, if it did these in a different order and it did block debuffs last, you run the risk of getting frozen from Torment from both the increased attack and Perfect Veil. But because she throws the block debuffs up first, it prevents your whole team from being frozen, which is pretty legit. So that's what I got. I'm going to link to a number of videos that I showcase teams that she's in the description down below. If you guys want to check it out, go check out my channel page. I do post consistent raid content, so I invite you to subscribe if watching raid content is something you enjoy to do. And I would invite you to hit the like button as well if you got something out of this, or if you just find me entertaining in some shape or form, so that it can be pushed out to other people. Maybe they could get something out of it, or find some semblance of joy in their day watching me ramble on about a video game. But I'm Lord Darth Balls. Like I said, I hope some of you pulled Duchess out there, and if you did, congratulations, you've got an incredible champion. I'll catch you on the next video. Enjoy your raid.